Hi, this is Paul from Outerloop Coaching and OuterloopCoaching.com. I got a big one here for you today. We're going to talk about how email equals money. I got a huge amount of detail on this because this is just a totally underserved topic for independent musicians, especially here on YouTube and on the blogs. So brace yourselves. I got a big one for you. Hold on to this, and thanks to Kevin from our Facebook group for asking the question that inspired this. Lastly, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell so you get the alerts, and put your questions and comments down below. Let's dig in. Okay, so here's today's plan. First, I want to talk about how email is the best way to make money for your band. Whenever you need to raise money for going into the studio, for going on the road, for fixing or replacing something in the van, maybe new equipment, anything that you want to do, email is the best way to do it, and I've got a specific strategy on how you can. I'm going to show that to you in today's webinar. The second thing I just want to talk about are a handful of some of the most popular and best tools for doing email, doing it really well. Third, I know that you've got so much you want to do, right? You've got to take care of your social media. You got to be writing music. You got to be practicing your instrument. You've got to book gigs. You've got so much you need to do. The last thing you want is another task. But that's pretty much what I'd be talking about here. And I can hear you already like, man, I just don't have enough time to do it. So I'm going to show you how you can do it hands-free. You set it up once, it can go for years, and you never have to look at it again. Last, I want to talk about Facebook and Instagram and how email sets those social media platforms, puts them on steroids. How you're going to be able to just absolutely crush those social media platforms when you have a good email list. It's exactly why you want to build it. So just a quick reminder that on the website you can get our free music management primer and our free pre-recording checklist at outerloopcoaching.com. Those are not going to be up forever, so if you're seeing this video long after it's been recorded, I'm sure I've replaced it with something else. But while we are near live, while we are near time that we are recording this, those are the giveaways we've got right now on the website at outerloopcoaching.com. So why email? The first reason is that the price is right. It doesn't cost you a thing to send an email. Every time that you want to send a communication out to your social media following, there's no guarantee that your following is going to see that. The algorithms that are now powering platforms like Facebook and Instagram, certainly with Facebook, they've changed it so that way even when somebody likes your page, even when somebody has said that they want to follow you, there's still a good chance that when you post something, it will not get into their feed. When you send an email, it will go into their inbox when you do it right, and you will absolutely be able to get your message to them. Whether they open it or not, whether they read it or not is another story, but at least you're going to be able to get it to them. And I can promise you, if you think you're getting good traction on a social media platform like Instagram now, just wait until they change the algorithm again, and they will. And you will have a real hard time. And that leads me to my second thing, is that the data is yours, right? So emails always work the same way for the most part since it was born. And whereas with the social media platforms are tweaking and changing and learning all the time, and it's usually not to your advantage. So the data is yours. With email, you've got those email addresses. They're yours till the end of time. You don't get stuck in a MySpace type situation where you build a huge following on a platform and then everybody leaves it all at the same time. It can crush your career in a moment. Direct communication is the next thing. It's so great to be able to, when you direct message somebody on social media and make a fan into a super fan, but email is just that on a new level. It's almost as good as handwriting a letter, licking the envelope and sticking it in the mailbox. And it's one of those things that fans just absolutely love. And so when you have the ability to directly communicate with your fans one by one, when you do that over the long term, you are once again turning fans into super fans and just making amazing experiences. And like I hinted at before, emails inside Facebook and Instagram is an amazingly powerful advertising tool. So let me talk about that just a little bit, because this is a thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. When you go into the ads manager for Facebook, which powers both of these platforms, inside there, you can set up a custom audience. And in a future video, I'm going to walk you through this. When you do a custom audience, you can upload your email list. The more, the better. Now, when those emails on your email list match the emails of those people who signed up to those platforms with that email, that match makes it so that Facebook and Instagram are able to identify those people, identify their trends, identify the things that they do, identify the things that they like, identify their tendencies. All that information now is available to them, and now in a way it's available to you. So what you're able to do is when you upload them, you can now advertise directly to those people and nobody else, and you can make sure that your message gets to them. Now you have to pay for this, but it's incredibly powerful, especially when you're doing something like a release rollout, where you really, really do want to make sure that your fans are aware that you've got something new coming out. The other way that it's really powerful is talking about all that information that the social media platforms have, is that the Facebook algorithm is able to look at those tendencies and the things those people like, your fans, and you can set up what is called a lookalike audience. And what it does is it identifies people just like your fans. So if they like a handful of bands that you perhaps have some sort of aesthetic similarity to, or you've toured with, or whatever, they will have other people who like those same bands will have a predisposition to like you as well. That's incredibly, incredibly powerful, and it's going to become more and more powerful over time as artificial intelligence and machine learning get better and better at distilling this information for your benefit. So this is just absolutely key, that getting your email list, the more the better, up on Facebook and Instagram is just an amazing way to reach not only those fans, but new fans just like the ones that you already have. I should also add, when you go on a tour and you want to make sure that your tour dates are put into the faces of your fans in certain markets, once again, this is a great way to do it. It supplements the emails that you are sending out. So this is just a quick look at how you can collect emails. There's probably a lot more ways that you collect emails. Just some examples here, like if you have a Bandcamp, inside Bandcamp, you have all of your past customers, all of them have email addresses, and you can get those email addresses, export them out, and enter them into your email program. If you use Squarespace, and I believe that this ability is still there, where you can have people who've signed up for you when they've been running your credit card charge at your merch booth, their emails are available to you as well. You can export those and put them into your email program. Forms on your website, if you've got an email sign-up form, especially if you've got like a pop-up box where you're like, give me your email, I'll send you an MP3 or an exclusive video or something like that. It's a great way to get those emails from people. And you can set it up, when you do it right, to go automatically into your email program. And my favorite just example here, and again, there's more examples than this, but my favorite is the merch booth sign-up form. Your merch booth, when it is set up correctly, and again, this is another webinar unto itself with setting up a really great merchandise booth, but you want to make sure that you have products at different price points. You want to have something that's $100, $150. You want to have something that's $50. You want to have something at $25. You want to have something at $10. You want to have something less than $10. And you want to have something free. And getting them to sign up for your email list is how you can get something from them for free. Absolutely have to do it. I should also add, if you can, use an iPad, use a Chromebook, or if all you have is your phone, it's better to have people type in their email addresses in, and even better yet, they're doing the two-factor authorization where they confirm that they that they entered their email correctly right there while they're standing in front of you. That is the best way, because when you've got a sheet of paper and people are handwriting their email addresses in, you'll have the hardest time first trying to figure out what letters they had written, and more than that, it's a pain in the butt when the tour is over to sit there with hundreds and hundreds of emails and trying to type them in. It's a huge waste of your time. Save time by doing it digitally when they sign up. So all these different places are where your emails are coming from. When the emails get put into the email program, from there, there's 4 main things that you want to do with your emails. The first one is something almost nobody does inside the music industry, and I think it's a tremendous missed opportunity. This is something that people outside of music are doing all the time and doing incredibly effectively, and it is a welcome sequence of emails. Think about it. They've just given you their email. You are top of mind right now. For the next day, the next week, the next 2 weeks, they're thinking about that show that blew them away. They're thinking about that new song they heard, and that's yours, right? You are at the top of their mind. Nothing has come into their lives yet to kind of distract them or pull them away. It's not like they've come across another band that is their new favorite band. It's right now. And while they are still thinking about you want to open up your email arms and welcome them in. And I've got a specific sequence that I like to use, and I will show you and walk you through that shortly. The second type of email is nurturing emails, right? So these are the emails that you send when you've got nothing you're promoting, you're not selling anything, you're just serving your audience, you're just being cool. And again, so few musicians do this, and I think it's another huge missed opportunity. When you are between tours, between album releases, so many artists, they start sending their emails about a month before the album gets released. They send their emails for a couple weeks after, and then they disappear again. And what it tells your audience is that you only care about that audience when you think they're going to pull out their wallet and buy a CD, they're going to buy a digital download, or they're just going to stream your songs. That's not right. I think that you're going to turn fans into super fans by sending them an email, one a week, one every 2 weeks, at least something. Let them know what you're doing, what you're working on, what you're thinking about, the things that are challenging. All of that stuff is stuff that fans love to read. It's the stuff that fans just, they're always thinking about you. They're always reminded they need to spread the word about you. They're always reminded they need to tell their friends how cool you are, maybe even forward one along. And it also is just any one of those emails could be the one where somebody goes, wow, that connects it. Oh, that explains that song. Now I got to go listen to that song again. And then become an even bigger fan than they were before. And then, of course, the next one is ticket sales, merchandise sales. When you've got a bundle or something, you want to promote it, get it out there, try to sell a few of them. Maybe you got leftover stuff at the end of a tour, something like that. Email, great way to do it. Great way to get the message out. Last one, what I was talking about earlier, release emails. The emails that you need to send out for the 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks before your EP or full length comes out, letting people know you got a new single out, letting them know that the album's coming out, let them know they need to pre-order. All of that is just absolutely vital. So let's talk about email tools. So I'm going to go 1, 3, 4, and 2. So let's start with the first one, DIY. DIY is when you're using Gmail or Squirrel Mail, even Yahoo Mail. I don't know who's still on that, but if you're using an email program like that just to send the emails, and you're storing the email addresses maybe in a spreadsheet program like Google Sheets or Excel, that's one way to do it. If you've got more time than you have money, then doing it DIY is a great way to do it because it's going to cost you nothing or close to it. Now, the trick with this is that most of us don't have time or money. So there's some pretty inexpensive ways to make this better and automate it for you. So again, like I was saying, going to number 3, MailChimp. MailChimp, that does have a free tier, but you're going to exhaust that very, very quickly if you're doing email well. For about $10 a month, MailChimp is an okay way to manage all of your email, to automate and send automatic messages out, that sort of thing. it is a pretty limited platform. I'll admit that 10 years ago, the functionality that they had at the price point that they had, I was a very big fan of MailChimp. I would say, unfortunately, nowadays, there are a lot of other alternatives I think are much better for about the same price, if not just a little bit more. One of those is FanBridge. FanBridge, now, this is expensive. It's $20 a month, and I think that's if you pay for a full year. And that's it at the time that I'm recording this. It may be more by the time you're looking at it. But for $20 a month, FanBridge is an email tool, an email program that is built for musicians and other artists. So they've got a lot of really cool bells and whistles that'll help you to collect emails and to help you write and to send your emails, and things like pre-made widgets and just really cool functionality. Things like what I was talking about earlier, where if someone gives an email, they get an MP3, for example, or access to an exclusive YouTube video. That's something that's really easy to set up in FanBridge, and for $20 a month, you can do it. But that brings me to program number 2. So before I introduce ActiveCampaign to you, I got to say, first of all, I am an affiliate. So if you go to outerloop.group/email and you try to sign up with ActiveCampaign, or you do sign up with ActiveCampaign, I will get some money off of that. I'm not even sure how much. It's not much, right? But I am an affiliate. But I became an affiliate because I'm a huge fan of ActiveCampaign. I have used 2 other programs in the past, and they've been monumental failures. They sucked up tons of my time. Once I started using ActiveCampaign, I just found that it works like a dream. It does all the things that FanBridge can do, but it's not built exclusively for artists. So you will have to put a little bit more effort in order to build the widgets, in order to build the functionality that you need. But I'll tell you what, I'm such a fan of ActiveCampaign that I'm looking forward to building things that if you're signed up in ActiveCampaign as well, I can help you with and make it almost automatic for you. And so there's more of that to come, and I'm going to show you one thing that I'm working on in just a second. But I'll just say with ActiveCampaign is, in my opinion, the easiest way to set up a welcome automation so that when people sign up to you, you can send weeks, months worth of emails, and you don't have to lift a finger. You've set it up once, you're done. And I have an example of one of those welcome sequences, the sequence that I like to use, and I'll share that with you, so that if you sign up with ActiveCampaign and you go to this next link, and let's look at it. Right here, the automation is outerloop.group/automatic. Once you're signed up with ActiveCampaign, once you go to outerloop.group/automatic, you can download this automation that I use. It's my gift to you. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so here's a little bit of a glimpse into the back end of ActiveCampaign, and your email program may have similar things. I won't go too much detail into anything other than what it is that you really need to know. But down here at the bottom, next to last button, you'll see that you've got what's called forms. And here I've set up a test, a banned form. So what this is this is a quick little pop-up box. It can be embedded on a web page. You can do it in a number of different ways. Just a really simple way for people to subscribe to your email list from your website or whatever it is. You can also set it up that using another program that connects with WordPress, or if your website is on a WordPress platform, where it takes the fields in this form and feeds it through that other program in order to get it onto your website. But all that is topic for another day. The point of this is that you just want to get people's email address. As you can see here over on the right, there are a whole bunch of additional fields that you can add to your form. But just keep in mind that every time you add a new field, the number of people who will sign up with you goes down dramatically. Personally, I like to keep the first name field because when I send emails, I can personalize them. I can say, hey, Sally, and blah, 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 blah. And then that exact same email to Bill would start with, hey, Bill. And I like that feature. I like to get emails that are addressed to me, so that's what I want to do to the emails that I send to the fans of bands. So that's how it starts, is you can, or one way that you can collect emails from your website. But anytime that you bring in new fans, however you do it, let me show you this automation. I've got here what's called the band welcome automation, and you can see this is just a flow. It's like if you are an electric engineer, you've got an electric signal, starts one place and it connects. This is going to be kind of like your pedal board, your guitar, where you start with the guitar playing a note, and then that signal has to go through your pickups, it goes down through the wire, it goes into one pedal after another, and each pedal has a purpose. So that's kind of like what we're trying to do here with this email automation. So the first thing I've got is anytime that somebody submits that form, right? They fill in the form, with their email address, they hit submit, they'll automatically get an email saying, hey, can you confirm your address? They hit confirm in their email, and then boom, they have submitted the form. Done, right? And they entered this automation automatically. And I'm going to add another trigger here, right? If I click this add a trigger and I put tag is added and hit continue, and let's call this tag band fan, and I hit add start, what will happen is whenever I add email addresses from people who, for example, sign up at the merch booth, or people who are coming in from Bandcamp or somewhere else that I'm getting, I'm going to tag those email addresses with this tag that says band fan. And as soon as they get that tag, then they go into this automation. So those are the two ways that they come in. So the first thing that happens, that first pedal on at our feet, is another tag that I call engaged. And why I put engaged is that when I'm sending my nurture emails, my evergreen emails, the email to say, hey guys, what's going on? This is what I'm up to, blah, blah, blah. If I'm sending that one, I'm not selling anything, you know, I'm just being cool. Those emails, I want it to go to just about everybody. The only people I don't want to have get it are people who got another email or getting an email that same day. And if they go into this automation, which takes a few days to go through, if they're in this automation, then they might get one or two emails from me in a single day. They may get it within a few minutes. And I don't want to barrage people with emails, especially when they are new to coming into liking this band, right? So once they're into this automation, I give them a tag, engaged. And when I send an email that's supposed to go out to everybody but these people, I set up a filter. Automatically, it will pull out everybody who has the tag engaged, so they're not sent that email. Fairly simple. So first thing I do is I send a welcome email, and it gets to them right away, right after they've approved their email, or I've manually added them. However they got into this automation, I get them an email right away, and I want that email to just say, hey, I'm glad for you. I'm really happy that you supporting the band. I'm glad you like what we do. Just letting you know, I will be sending you more emails over the next few days, and you know, thanks for being cool. And that's it, right? And now this is a trick that I like, and I won't go into too much detail here, right? But if you see down below, I've got written down goal, right? What that box does, that pedal, right, is anytime somebody opens that welcome email, they shoot like almost like get catapulted from that place on the sequence all over everything that's below it to that goal. And the reason that I do that is that sometimes people get that initial email, and for whatever reason, maybe they don't see it, maybe they don't like the subject line, it's not interesting, they don't realize who it's coming from, something like that, and they don't open it. So what I'll do is then wait for 2 hours, maybe 3, and I'll have that exact same email with the same image inside, the same text inside, everything is the same, except I'll change the subject line to something completely different, and I'll send a new email. And as soon as that fan opens either of those two emails, they go to this goal and they are now moving on to the next step. If somebody doesn't open either of those emails, after an additional day has gone by, I keep on going. I just send them on to the next email. But for those people who open up that email, I want to keep them nurtured fairly quickly, right? These are more likely to become super fans than the people who sign up perhaps because their significant other said, hey, go ahead, fill that out, you know? So I'll wait a day after that email has either been opened or 2 days after they have received the email but have not opened it, and I send a new email. And that email will be information about the band. Hey, here's some information about us, things you might not know. Trying to continue to find ways for fans to connect with the band. I want them to know something about their past, know something about the challenges the band's gone through, know something about why the band makes the music that it makes. I'm just looking for that connection. So that'll be the next email I send, and then following that, about 2 days later, the fan will get another email, and it'll be, here are all the places you can follow us. I want people to follow on Spotify, and I want them to follow on YouTube. I want them to follow on all the different social media platforms. I'm going to try to get people to follow the band everywhere that they are. So I'll send an email that really just spells that out. Here's all the links, different ways to find it. Because think about it, if you're a fan of a new band and you don't necessarily know all the places that the band might be putting content up, and while you're still excited about that band, you're going to go and you're going to listen to everything you can. You're going to be watching everything that you can. This is a great way to encourage them and inspire them to do it. I wait about 3 days and or after they've opened up the last email, and then I pull off that tag of engaged, and that's the entire automation. It's just a welcome email, an about us email, and where to follow us email. You can make this as long and as involved as you want. You could make this just a single email, but it's a really good way to just welcome people in, keep them excited, and inspire them to share information about the band, to talk about the band with friends. I really, really want to make that connection, and I want to just, encourage it. So I do that with a welcome sequence like this one. So once again, you can get this exact sequence in your active campaign by just going to outerloop.group/automatic. And this is going to just save you a ton of time, because once it's set up, you don't have to touch it again. Every time somebody gets tagged with that tag or gets fills in that form successfully, they go into this automation and they get those emails. And you can edit the emails and change them over time. You can do all sorts of things, but you don't have to send email, sit down and write it, sit down, copy, paste it into everybody who signs up each time people sign up. It's automated. You don't have to think about it ever again if you don't want to. So that's the welcome sequence of emails. And I also talked about the nurture emails. Hopefully those are pretty self-explanatory. You were able to just send an email, just send all, with the exception of people inside your welcome sequence. And just let them know what's doing it. Do it once a week, once every 2 weeks, but definitely no less than that. You want to stay active there. But then the last one was how to raise money when you want to, you need to raise money for the studio, new equipment, van repairs, stuff like that, right? So I've got a specific strategy for it, but I wanted to ask you if you would do me a big favor. When you try this, could you please let me know when you do? Please send me an email, paul@outerloopcoaching.com. Let me know how it works. Let me know how it works compared to previous times that you've done it. I've got a specific strategy on how to do this that I think is really, really effective. But in order to really feel confident with it, I kind of need to get more data. I need to know that it actually has worked for people. So the question also would be, if it does work, what should we call this? Because it's kind of its own thing. Can you come up with better terminology than I have? Mine is kind of corny. And also, what would make it better? What's wrong with this? What is it that you found has worked really, really well that I've got wrong? Am I saying it's too much when it works better doing less? It's quite possible. Just let me know what you think. All right, so let's get started. I don't know what to call it, but there's 3 phases to this in my mind. There's the relate phase, the rev phase, and the raise phase. Now, the relate phase, for all intents and purposes, is just like that nurturing stuff, right? But if you're not doing the nurturing, you're not sending the email once a week, once every 2 weeks, you really do need to start doing that before you start to do your rev and raise. So what you need to do is just send emails. You're not asking for anything. You're not selling. You're not promoting. You're just developing your relationship with your fans. All this is just finding ways to take people who are casual fans, turn them into big fans, and people who are big fans, turn them into super fans, turn them into advocates for you, turn them into the kind of people who will spend money supporting you because they believe in you and they love what you're doing, right? And that isn't done by asking them to buy something. That's done by just giving away, giving yourself away, giving them information, insights, giving them just letting them know that you love them, right? And not doing it because of any ulterior motive, just to be cool. That's the relate phase. Relate phase could go for 2-3 years before you do anything else, or it could be just a few months, but you got to do it. I think it's important. The rev phase is what you need to do before you start asking people for money. This is the best time to remind your fans who you are and why they care. You want to build a little bit of anticipation, but again, even in the rev phase, you aren't actually selling anything. You're not trying to you're not making an ask. You're just giving them something even cooler, right? You're raising the stakes a little bit. You're sending emails a little bit more often. I think that the best way to do this is with video, with embedded video. And of course, you can put these videos on your YouTube and make them public as well. But sending them via email, just put it unlisted on your YouTube channel, send it via email, and maybe a week or 2 or 3 days or a single day after you send it via email, then make it public. Something like that is fine. That's cool. But it's really cool when you get something exclusive in your email before anybody else can get it. The casual fans can get it versus by just following the YouTube channel. So video, again, really, really great way to do it, and I'll talk more about how to do this in just a moment. But that's the rev phase. You're revving the engine. You're trying to make that personal connection. That's why I think that putting video along with the text in your email is really, really powerful and really awesome. Then the last phase is the raise phase, right? This is where you need to go about raising your money. This is where you need to go about telling people, hey, I've got this. I want your support. Please do it now. Key to this is that you have to either have a deadline or you have to have a limited number of whatever it is that you're selling before people can't get it anymore. I think this lasts 8 days. It's a Friday through Friday program. And this is just a very brief way to, similar to a crowdfunding campaign. Rather than doing a 30-day long, intense, super hard work crowdfunding campaign, do it via email, do it this way in 8 days. It's a lot less work, and I think it can be just as or nearly as beneficial as doing a crowdfunding campaign. The purpose for the raise phase is to sell, right? You don't use any salesy language. You don't beg, all that stuff, but you let people know that you've got something. You've got something that they can only get for these 8 days and it's gone. Or they can only get it while these 25 or 50 or whatever number it is while they still are available, and then they're gone. It has to be scarcity driven. Now just a reminder, if it is scarcity where it's like, all right, we've only got 50 of these, then be wary that if you're trying to raise 3,000 to go in the studio and you've got 50 and you're selling them for $50 each, whatever it is, even when you sell it out, you're still going to only make $2,500. You're going to be $500 short. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but you're going to want to make sure that what it is that you're selling and what it is that you are putting out there to people, your fans, on email is going to actually raise enough money for you to pay for what it is that you're trying to do. So let's look at what this looks like in a calendar. The first phase is that rev phase, right? Well, there's the nurturing phase, the relate phase, of course, but that's evergreen. It's always happening. But when you're about to get through to doing this campaign for raising money, really rev is where things really get going, right? You put out that first video on the Friday and you just let people know, you have that purpose. One of the reasons that crowdfunding works so well is crowdfunding isn't telling people, hey, look at all this stuff you can get from us. Crowdfunding works really well because it tells everybody, this is why we want you to get this stuff from us, right? So for you, if it is, we're trying to raise money to get in the studio, and if we can raise, and be specific, this much money, we're going to be able to do this much recording and put out our next EP, or record more songs, whatever it is that you're wanting to go in the studio for. Or, hey, look, here's the muffler with the hole in it. We got to replace this damn thing. This is why we're going to, this is what's going on. Again, you're not asking anybody to buy anything. That first video is just introducing them to the why of what you're going to be doing, right? Letting them know, hey, we've got these songs and we can't wait to get in the studio. Let the weekend go by. On Monday, second video, and this can be sort of behind the scenes. It can be just something more fun. Again, just something giving away to people, letting them know how optimistic you are and excited you are for what it is that when you raise the money that you need will make it even better. You're going to be able to get more people once you get on the road, or you're going to be able to get to more people by recording these songs, or you're going to be able to get these songs to the people who are on your email list. Whatever it is, have that why, identify it in this second video in a little bit more depth. And on the Wednesday is video 3 is, again, another way to kind of just, sort of double down on what you said already, but show it in another way. Maybe it's somebody else in the band explaining it or showing it off, or just taking it from a different perspective. The difference here with video 3 is at the end of that video, you really do, and don't make these videos very long. They can be 5 minutes, they can be 2 minutes. I mean, if you want to do a half hour, great, but don't make them any longer than they need to be. But at the end of video 3, make sure you let people know we've got something coming. All of this has a reason. Check out for your email coming in just a couple days. We could really use your help to do what we're doing. That's it, right? So you want to kind of introduce the idea, and you can do this in the text in the email as well. Let them know something's coming. You want what is it's called a soft landing in digital marketing, where you are ending this third video by just letting people know, hey, I'm going to ask you for something in a couple days. Hope you don't mind, And so once you get to the next Friday, right? So you started on one Friday, a week has gone by, you're on the next Friday. This is when you have to debut what it is that you are offering. You want to reiterate the why you're asking people to support you, but then you got to tell them what it is that you're making available. It can be your t-shirts, it can be a bundle, it can be, make it 1 or 2 things, and that's about it. Don't give people too many choices. You really don't want to do that, but you do want to just put something out there, let people know there's either a deadline or there's a limited number before they're all gone. Look, all of us love to buy t-shirts from, and other stuff, LPs and things like that from the bands that we love. But what makes the difference for getting that stuff, especially when we get asked, is when we know that doing that is going to support the band that we love, and it's going to support them in a very specific way. That is absolutely, that's just so powerful. And remember, like throughout all of this, you have already spelled out that why. You've told them why you need this support, why you needed to make this happen, and now they need to help you, right? You've been giving them great content for a long time. Let's get them to give back, right? By helping themselves. And this is the other thing, like, you don't need to use salesy language. You don't need to make this like kind of a crappy sales pitch with a clickbait subject line. Because you've already done all the cool stuff, you've already spelled out why you are asking what you're asking. So that's super important. Every day, send a new email, update people on, how it's going, how many are left, how excited you are at how it's been going, how grateful you are for the emails that you've been getting. Maybe quote some of the emails that people reply and go, hey, so glad to help you out, stuff like that. Include those, that text in the next emails that you send, right? Let people know that, they're not the only ones listening, and this thing is something to be excited for. It's something that is really starting to click, and how excited you are to be in the midst of it. Let them know you only have a few days left, or there's only a few of these left. If you get to a certain point along the way where you're like, you know what? We just had an idea, here's something else we can give you, or you sold a bunch and people are asking, look, I want to support you more. Don't be afraid, especially on that Monday then, when you send out offers, the emails 4 and 5, to make one of those emails, hey, look, we just found this in the back, or hey, if you already bought, here's a second way you can help us out. If you didn't like the first one, here's a different one you might really like. That sort of thing, really cool. Your coffee mugs, your frisbees, shower curtains, whatever it is that you're making. Like, get that out there, alert people to it, remind them all along the way why that you're looking for the support at this point. Keep reminding them, deadline's coming, and when that next Friday comes, this is the third Friday in this sequence, right? Rev phase week 1 was the first Friday on video 1. The next Friday was the debut offer email. This third Friday is when you're going to send an email in the morning to let them know there's only a few left, or today is the end, and you need to get on this last chance. And then you send another email towards the end of the day just saying, hey, just minutes left in this before it's all gone, or there's only 2 or 3 left, whatever it is. You send that email out, make sure that you sell out, or you sell as much as you can, and then you will have raised the money that you need for what you need. As long as you've got a fan base that you've been nurturing, a fan base that connects with you and loves you, a fan base that believes in your why. Now they believe in it just as much as you do, and you've done a fairly good job of explaining what that is. You will be able to make whatever goal you set and then some. So I highly recommend giving this sequence a shot. And again, this isn't just to be done on email, but you will find that your email fans, the ones who have given you something, given you more than just a like on a Facebook, given you more than just a follow on Instagram or a handful of spins on Spotify. These are people who gave you something. They gave you their email address. They are going to be the fans who give the most when you go to them and say, hey, we need your help to raise money for what this is, right? But you can certainly run it alongside. You want to run it on all your social media accounts. You want to run it on your YouTube, all that stuff. Make sure you've got your links and your links work to be able to get to your shopping cart, whatever you're using for your shopping cart, and you're going to fulfill these people. And I should add, whatever the why is, right? Whatever your why is, you absolutely 100% of the time must fulfill that why if you hit the goal, right? So if you say to everybody, we need $4,000 for the studio, and this is it. And you launch this campaign and you hit that $4,000 goal. You must use that money for the studio. Do not let somebody talk you into buying a used van or doing anything different with it. People trust you, and they will stop trusting you the moment that you bait and switch them. And to make it worse, they won't trust any other band ever again either. So you must be trustworthy, and you must fulfill the promise that you made. So let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are just examples of social media, but I'm just going to use these two as the biggest example. And the way that email makes this super powerful is actually twofold. All right, let's talk about the first one. The first one is the ability to advertise directly to fans. Whenever you create an ad on Facebook, you could try to set it up so that it only shows to people who've been to your website. Of course, you need your pixel set up correctly, but yeah, people who've only who visited your website over a certain number of days, or the people who have interacted with your Facebook page or your Instagram page over the last certain amount of time. But that's as close as it gets, right? But with email, you can actually advertise directly to the fans who have given you their email address. And when you send an email, that matters. And that could be things like a single release, an EP or an album release, or if you're doing a crowdfunding campaign or a campaign like what we just talked about with direct funding, you've got live performances in their towns, tour dates. Of course, you'll send email, but as another way to remind them, another way to get, frankly, to get what you're doing in their face so that they can go, oh yeah, gotta do it, is when you upload your emails to Facebook and Instagram with a custom audience. And I talked a little bit about that before. I'll go into much more detail about that in a future video. But advertising directly to your fans is absolutely one of the best things that you can do with Facebook and Instagram when you upload your emails. But then there's this other thing that's really cool. It's the way that you can let the artificial intelligence inside Facebook and Instagram find new fans just like your fans. What it does is and I'll tell you, the more people you have on your email list, and more of those people who are on Instagram, on Facebook with that same email address, right? The more people you have, the more powerful this is going to be. Because think about it. Your fans oftentimes, think about the people in the crowd who got arms over each other's shoulders singing along, right? They have a handful of things that make them similar to each other. They might like other bands kind of like yours. They might like a record label. They might all be fans of a particular restaurant in that town. Who knows? It could be a whole bunch of different things. It could be the way that they watch videos on Instagram rather than look at pictures, the way that they do things. The algorithms inside Facebook and Instagram are getting more and more powerful over time to find and pull out what those similarities are. And when you've got an email list and you give the AI inside Facebook and Instagram a chance to analyze all of your fans that it matches and find those similarities, what it will then do when you give it a chance is it will find other people among the millions and millions and millions who are using Facebook and Instagram every day. Find other people just like your current fans. And this is super powerful. It is what's called inside the Facebook Ads Manager a lookalike audience. The lookalike audience is the chance for the algorithm to look at and analyze the people and find other people just like your fans. This is Way cool, super cool, and is a great way to make new fans, to find new fans, right? You find people who, hey, they might have seen you performing, opening up for some band because they like that band just like your other fans like them. It's just they weren't among the people who went running to your merch booth after you played to sign up to your email list. Maybe something came up, right? And they missed you. But now you are gonna get back to them and do it using artificial intelligence, which is super cool and super powerful, and you can't do it as effectively inside Facebook as you can with a email list. Now, if you've got your pixel set up, you absolutely can have it look at people who are just like the people who visited your website and a number of other things, but it's not as powerful as the email list. I'm a huge fan of this, and this is one of those things that's almost like a hidden secret inside Facebook and Instagram. So email, as you've seen, is just got a bunch of really cool things that it does even in the modern day. Here email is what, almost 25, 30 years old or something, and it still works very similar to the way it always has, and it is still really powerful. Now, I do realize that there are people who don't open their emails, and they don't read them. There's certainly a lot of people who don't reply to them. I've seen that firsthand, but it's still something that people use. Almost everybody uses. And it is a way for you to be really effective in directly communicating with them and in making your life super easy with automations, and also a way to really put your Facebook and Instagram advertising on steroids. Way cool. Once again, for more information on ActiveCampaign, check out outerloop.group/email. And if you like that, if you sign up for ActiveCampaign, or you're currently an ActiveCampaign user and you like the automation that I built, the welcome sequence, it's available for you to download and install into your ActiveCampaign now. Just go to outerloop.group/automatic. Way cool. So I know this has been a lot of information. If you've stuck around to this point, boy, thank you very much. And I hope I've sold you on why email is super powerful and super awesome. Please start doing it. Let me know how it goes. Ask your questions down below in the chat, or email me, paul@outerloopcoaching.com. I'm happy to answer all of your emails. And let's see, what else should I add? Oh, just you're still here. If you haven't yet, like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. We got lots and lots of really great content just like this forthcoming. And yeah, hit that little bell so that way you know when new emails are coming. All right, once again, I'm Paul from Outerloop Coaching, outerloopcoaching.com, and I thank you very, very much for investing so much of your time into this video, into what we're doing at Outerloop Coaching, and I'm super grateful for having you here. So thank you very much.